be with FireCircle this evening because I had previous commitments. But I think what you are doing is really important. And from the domestic violence point of view, there are two things which I would like to address, or I would like to ask you to at least think about. One is the side of prevention, and the other is the side of alleviation. Naturally, I'm more on the side of prevention, if I can possibly do that, but also I have been involved for over 40 years on the whole question of alleviation of the effects of domestic violence. And when it comes to what I think can be done on the preventative side, I would like to suggest that you could think about communities setting up free nursery care provisions for young mothers with children from the ages of, well, a couple of months to 3 or 4 or 3 years, when the nursery school system kicks in, because mothers have to work in order to feed their children, and they can't take their children to work with them. And the implications of that are vast, which I leave up to you. The second one is the whole question of how people learn domestic violence, and they learn it at home. And they learn it through being beaten themselves, through seeing their siblings being beaten. We've had a recent instance with a mother beating a child with a shovel and with the buckle of a belt. That's how you learn about being violent to other people. And I think that is something we need to change. There are 28 countries in the Western Hemisphere now that have banned corporal punishment in the home as well as at work. Trinidadians have not ever appeared to be in favor of that, but I think it's something we're going to have to look at if we're going to change the existing culture. When it comes to alleviation, there are two areas which I think are really important. One is support for the Children's Authority, and we are still waiting for President Carmona to proclaim the legislation. I am hoping that he will do it before the end of December, so that the Children's Authority will finally have the legal authority to do what it is set up to do. And that is one of the alleviation measures that is really important in Trinidad and Tobago. The other one is the existence of the family court, which at one time was known as the best family court in the Western Hemisphere. It has been declining in terms of quality simply because the CPO's office will not allow competitive and market salaries to be paid to staff, and staff have to feed their own families and their own children, and so they have been losing staff. And I think that these are the areas which I would have liked to have addressed if I could have been there with you this evening, and since I won't be, I just hope that you can pick up on some of them and maybe express some views. The hope that I have that we will have an effect is, for me, what I call technology activism. The world has changed, and now that we have got the kind of event that is taking place this evening, we've got blogs, we've got Twitter. I think you may have noticed that the governments now have to respond, or feel they have to respond, to enough technological activism. And if we can continue this and expand on it over the next few years, I have every hope that we are going to end up with a less violent, more caring country with less domestic violence.
Thank you.
All we want to do is change the world.